The community is in uproar, guys. This gameplay delay has only gotten worse, and actually there's a conspiracy around it getting better after a maintenance that we'll talk about, but really people are starting to lose their minds over the delay, especially on console, some on PC, but especially on console, really over the last like week or so. It's just been ridiculous. And we're going to talk about that and talk about, well, for one, the reason I think that we are having the delay, and two, the reason that it's such a big deal right now, which it rightfully should be, right? But we'll talk about why it's such a big deal. Also, the market crash was pretty crazy over the last 2 days here. It's going back up a bit now. One of the main culprits was this store pack here. The store pack was very good, tradable, not that crazy expensive, and that did a big number on the market. We'll talk about that some as well. There are some SBC leaks as well to go and look at, some objectives or SBCs. If you guys would like to buy coins, you can go to MMOXP.com. There will be a link in the top of the description. They're the safest and the cheapest option, and you can use my code JFC at checkout for an 8% discount. There's been some more talk too about the casuals and how it feels like there aren't any more casuals anymore. That was a big topic of discussion as well over the last 24 hours. But of course, guys, thank you all for watching and being here. I greatly appreciate you. And I lost coins this weekend. If you guys lost coins with me, I just want to say I apologize. I actually bought in. I said, I think it was Mariona, right? I talked about buying Mariona. I bought her, I think for like 160, I want to say, her stream card on Thursday night. And now she actually back up. Well, that would have been nice to just hold on to her. I should have just held on to her. She was down at 110, guys. 110 in the heat of the panic. Just shows you that it was just, you know, a lot of panic was going on here, and not a lot of it was like legitimate. But anyway, yeah, scream cards died. So I bought like 4 or 5 of her, and I lost 25k a card or something like that. So I was down this week for a little bit, and I went back up again, luckily with some icon trading, which is always great. But also wanted to show you, as a Juventus fan, I couldn't not do Openda, which, by the way, this card's extinct, and also a few other cards are extinct. This brought back up a debate again of like, what should EA do when a card's extinct that is in packs that you can't snipe, that you want to put in an Evo? Is that actually something that is worthy of like trying to fix, like Openda, or was it Ashwala who's extinct too, right? You know, people who can't snipe those cards, like, you're just kind of out of luck. Is that a big deal, or is that not a big deal? Let me know what you guys think in the comments there. Openda's very good in this game though, by the way, if you guys haven't really used Openda. One of the funniest things, if you guys have not seen, obviously I'm sure you have, are these new man of the match cards, which I think are still not selectable here. So let's go to Mickey Van de Ven and click on special for him, and then we can go and find it here. But yeah, Fanta cards, man of the match cards are back. It's always awesome. Like, I want to give EA their credit for this because this video is going to be ripping into them the entire time. So cool. Okay, nice. Happy to see these back. Also, Van de Ven's the most overpriced card I've ever seen. It's defending wise, like it's +2 more pace and no defending, no physical on his inform. But he has rapid plus, which does not trigger without the ball. You need the ball for rapid plus to trigger. And yeah, he has some good shooting now, but you can't play him anywhere besides center back. So it's like, okay, there's no point in this card being expensive apart from it's orange, so cool, which honestly I respect. But that might be the most overrated card of all time, despite the fact that, yes, he's obviously gonna be super rare. Okay, I know that, but still the practicality behind it, not really there. But I'm happy to see them returning. We talked about that for a while, and yeah, let's just talk about the gameplay. Okay, the biggest topic so far has been, oh my god, the delay is literally disgusting. People said the primetime league was just ridiculously sweaty, and every game mode right now is seemingly ridiculously sweaty. And what's the reason for that? Oh, by the way, this Cambiasso, great card, by the way. But okay, so I'm sure a lot of you guys already saw this. I think Run the Fut Market made a video on this where there was like crazy complaints about gameplay delay for a couple days prior to this maintenance that was for some reason 7 hours long. And then anecdotally, of course, many people said after this, the gameplay felt better, almost as if they were trying to fix something or do something with the servers in the meantime. Because yeah, 7-hour maintenance is pretty rare. It's not totally unheard of. We have seen some maintenances before for more than like a couple hours, which usually the regular maintenances are about a couple of hours. This one is 7 hours long, and it happened to be right after all the complaints that were, you know, it wasn't just like a few people complaining. It was a crazy amount of people that were saying like, hey, something's wrong. The servers are overloaded, or something's wrong with the gameplay right now, whatever that might be, figure the fuck out. And then a maintenance pops up. And I think it's most likely unrelated, if I had to guess, because this was 2 days ago. Now that we're past this, people are back again reporting the delay is horrible again, and you cannot escape this. I mean, this is literally everywhere. Every social media, almost half the posts you see are basically people on console mainly, some PC players for sure. I've felt it myself, just a lot less often on PC, but I do feel it on PC sometimes. But console players especially are like, bro, I can't do anything. Like, the delay is so ridiculous. You can't really see this here, and it's somebody who's kind of showing a very extreme example of his input delay, I believe, right? I think this guy's even on PC, you see him press the X button and it is like so delayed all the time. This is a pretty extreme example, like I said, but you can see here he's running like 130 FPS. He's got a nice computer. It just doesn't matter. If you scroll down Reddit, I mean, it's basically every post that is talking about the gameplay at all is talking about the delay, the input lag, whatever you want to call it. And honestly, the problem with this is that there's no fix, really. Like, you can try and go to play on PC, which it is less, but yeah, go buy a PC to have less input delay. Like, I mean, that's not a realistic solution. So what can you do? I mean, there's nothing you can do apart from just hope that you play the game at times when apparently the game feels okay. But I think it's not server based for me personally, because I've had good gameplay in times where it would be very crowded server wise, and I've had horrible gameplay at 2 a.m. on a Wednesday. Like, it's not consistent enough for me to be like, yeah, it's definitely a time of day thing. I do think a lot of it is baked in the code. EA admitted, by the way, that it is baked in the code. A lot of the delay we felt was baked into that. And the thing with this, which makes it way worse, is that you have, I genuinely think, a better game than last year. I think it's better. Is it good? No. Is it amazing? Definitely not. There are things this year that are better. When the delay is this bad, it's not better. Of course, the game sucks. How often do you actually get to take advantage of the faster dribbling this year? Almost never, because right here, the delay is a product scam. This is just all you see anywhere. You don't actually get to experience any like the faster, more responsive passing or dribbling because the delay is so bad. And I think that the problem that like EA's playing a dangerous game with this, and that I think they just sometimes hope that like people will just play regardless of the delay. But there's always a breaking point for everybody, and they have got to start from scratch. You cannot continue this any longer. Can you guys imagine what next year is going to be like with an open world mode? I mean, that if the delay is server related, can you imagine how much worse that it's going to be next year? I mean, they cannot go another year with whatever the hell's happening here. It can't happen. There's no other game that is out there, sports game, non-sports game, any video game, okay? There's no other game that just doesn't work sometimes. The game doesn't do what you want it to do sometimes. We're all aware the animation system is intricate. It's tough to like balance everything out and make everything work how it should. But when the delay and the gameplay feels like this, when it's at its least responsive, it is entirely, completely unplayable, and we don't really care about how hard the animation system is. Like, oh, guys, don't worry, it's hard on them, so we'll deal with this. Like, people are just not going to play your game. It's just that simple. And here's actually a post right here where someone said the exact same thing I did. The servers are not going to be able to handle an open world mode, and it does feel like maybe was it since the start of this beta test that this started happening? It maybe that correlates, but people have been really noticing it the last few days. But like I said, that kind of goes against even what I'm saying that it's server based. I think what the problem probably is it is baked in the gameplay, and servers probably do add a layer of that on top of things. But to be honest with you, I don't exactly know what the cause is. Nobody knows exactly what the cause is. We have our guesses, but we just know that it exists. This is not some sort of like, oh, DDA handicap scripting that has like that conspiratorial sort of like, okay, there's no real proof to this, but like we think it's there, but there's not really any proof to it. This is not that. This is thousands upon thousands, hundreds of thousands of players all feeling this exact same thing. We can test it and see it. EA's admitted it's there, and they've tried to fix it, and they can't. And it's worthy once again to talk about, because everyone's bringing it up right now, that is this actually possibly a side effect of this like new play testing with the open world stuff? I don't know. We don't really have any answers to any of this, and we don't. This is why we absolutely need communication on this. I wanted to bring up this Nepentha's tweet too, so I think this is important. So he says here in the pitch notes, if you remember, EA said this: tackle personality, added more player personality for stand tackles. Players with a low stand tackle attribute below 71 specific number can only perform basic stand tackle animations. Players in the medium range 71 to 84 can perform most stand tackle animations, and then players with a high stand tackle 85 plus can perform all animations. EA can't just drop this info and like not elaborate on this. So you're telling me that with every stat there's a threshold of like animations that they can get? If they want an actual good game, they cannot withhold this. Like, they absolutely cannot do that, because you know what would actually possibly help this delay problem is if we knew, like, okay, to give a player the actual best animations, their agility has to be 88 plus, balance 87 plus, dribbling base stat 90 plus, something like that, plus like reactions added in there, right? And if we knew all of these thresholds that allowed for players to get the best animations, we maybe could see some better gameplay, because then we like know best case scenario what the gameplay could be. Because for example, example, if you're switching around with players that a couple guys in your attack have high dribbling, but somebody doesn't, and those two guys obviously reach certain thresholds that the second guy doesn't, but then he has high reactions, so that plays a part in something else, and some other animations that he maybe can get that the other ones can't, and then you have the problem of, well, of course the gameplay is going to feel inconsistent because you don't know what thresholds these guys meet, so then they all will have different animations all the time. Even the animations maybe have RNG in them, like you might get this one sometimes, you might get that one sometimes, and this one's just a little bit slower, but it's so negligible you can't really tell, but then you're playing the game at a fast pace, then you can tell it. Like, there's so much that goes into this. I think EA really overcomplicated a lot of this stuff, and some of that is just probably because they had to make certain features to sell to us, like playstyles and roles and shit that they didn't need to do, but they did do. The fact that these thresholds exist and we don't know they exist for, I'm assuming, all stats is completely unacceptable. And this is, I think, just, it shows how unserious I think EA are sometimes with this gameplay. And Nepenthes does say here that he actually thinks we don't have these thresholds at all for everything that happens in the game. I would be stunned by that. I think there are for sure these thresholds in a lot of different stats, and if there's not, it's like, how do they work then? There has to be a cutoff point at some point to get animations and not, right? I mean, there has to be. So maybe a kind of article from EA like this would help, trying to explain the differences between 95 stand tackle and 85 stand tackle, or 91 dribbling and 99 dribbling. Maybe that will make a difference, but honestly, I doubt it still. I think the delay is baked in the coding of the gameplay, and I think that EA probably would fix this if they could, but they only have 8 months to make a game. So sorry, like they just don't have time for that. They can't lose, you know, $1 billion on release sales. Like, they can't just skip a year. They're not going to do that. So here we are. We're just stuck with this delay. And it sucks because I think actually the content team has clearly been like pretty responsive to us this year, and there's been some shit that I don't agree with at all. You guys know that, but at least they're like making themselves heard. Whereas this is like, you can't not ignore this anymore. If you want to be genuinely responding back and forth to us, you have to acknowledge this. I know they did acknowledge it earlier this year, talking about how, hey, like they literally admitted kind of what they think the delay was being caused by, and it was animations. So if certain stat thresholds don't trigger certain ones, it's important to know that. But anyway, I don't know. I'm just kind of like speculating here. The delay sucks for you guys, especially on console, which also, does that add a part into like knowing that it's baked in the code? Because PC, it's not as bad, but it still happens. But then console, it's worse. I don't know. I don't know what the hell to make of any of it. It's been a thing for like 10 years now, and I don't think the devs know what the fuck's going on. Also, this next part was pretty talked about today. Mad HD Gamer observes that literally every game now, regardless of division, is an absolute sweat fest, he says. And the thing with this is you kind of are seeing what's happening with gaming as a whole. There's just not many casual gamers anymore because everyone has access to so much information that any Joe Schmo looks up tips or looks up this or looks up that when they play any game, even for a small amount of time. Like, it's just, there's too much information out there now for total casual gaming to be here. And I know some games have it more than others for sure, and EA could do that. I think some of it got better this year with like these tournaments and shit, but of course they all have entry limits because we just hate good things. Like, we cannot have good things around here. But I can see they're trying to like think of the casuals a little bit, but at the same time, I think it is important to know, like, we're not going to ever go back to FIFA 16 or FIFA 15 FIFA. Like, we're just never going to. The casual player base, it's just like the older CODs. That pretty much just can't exist anymore. There are ways that it can come back in certain amounts, which it for sure can, and it's needed to in certain amounts. There needs to be modes to hop into where players can try things out, and that is very important. I think there are more of those this year, but we do need, once again, we need more of those. And then of course you've got more casuals mad, and I shouldn't even say casuals. This is more like kind of like that one step up from casuals, like still lower on the totem pole for sure, but just that one step up from casuals where they were just kind of like squad battles players, right? They play some squad battles, maybe delve into some rivals sometimes, but mainly squad battles players. They're not happy right now because squad battles got harder. I know that they got harder for everybody, so like the points threshold shouldn't really change that much, but it's more so the enjoyment of the game that people aren't happy with right now, that the CPU holds the ball a ton and they're just so hard to break down. So there's more complaints about that right now. And listen, yes, we're just highlighting a lot of the complaining that we're seeing everywhere right now, but I'm right now seeing the most I've seen this year, bar none, and I wanted to bring that up to you guys today because the sentiment in the comments has been kind of similar to that, whereas it was pretty damn positive kind of in like the middle of October time, and now we're getting toward the middle of November and we're starting to see it go down a bit. And this kind of happens every year, but the thing that sucks is that it's actually not mainly the gameplay people are mad about, it's mainly the delay with the gameplay. Like, the gameplay itself isn't amazing, but it to me is better than last year. To most people it's better than last year, but you can't play that gameplay. You might as well call it something else because that's just delayed all the time. It's not FC26 gameplay. gameplay. Like, it's something else. So anyway, yeah, let me know what you guys think in the comments, of course, and let's get started now with some leaks and news stuff. Nick Pope, SBC and Objective coming out, and the Moments designs here, which means I'd assume we'll be at SBC probably. These are his official stats here, and unfortunately it's a long throw plus, which isn't, you know, the most amazing playstyle plus for a goalkeeper at all. We've also got Marcus Leonardo, SBC and Objective, 88 pace, 86 shot, 85 dribbling, World Tour card here, so it could be either SBC or an Objective, and the stats make me believe that it's probably going to be an Objective, but he is on the way as well. And then Jeremy Pino here, who honestly stats wise looks pretty awesome. 91 pace, 84 shot, 86 passing and dribbling there. No playstyle plus, but he looks really good actually. And don't forget, these cards are all upgradable, so you could even see better stats for Pino, and he could get a playstyle plus here soon as well. And then lastly, we've got, where is he here? Yeah, Davinson Sanchez, SBC or Objective, who obviously links to Osimhen, so that's pretty nice there. And also in some interesting news here, this new EVO that came out today was leaked like a few hours before it actually came out, and EA actually changed the requirements in just that small amount of time. There was a requirement that was leaked that said they cannot be a left back, and then the EVO came out and that was not a requirement here. Looks like EA did once again change something. I don't know how much that actually changed, you know, with like market movements of any cards at all, but they did at least throw a wrench into something here that is, I guess, worth noting, I suppose. But okay, let's talk about the market next. And you want like proof that people are not happy with the delay in this game right now is the market. It's gone back up, which is good to see, because actually for a while it was like, oh my god, the market's dropping and it's not stopping. I was like, oh my god, I'm gonna lose half my coins here. But the selling this weekend was crazy, just a ton of selling. I think what obviously helps with that is evolutions, right? You now have evolutions that are gonna get in people's teams, so you have frustrated people with the gameplay that just say, I'm not gonna buy cards off the market, like fuck that, you might as well have fun and get some evolutions in your team. And they're good cards anyway. They might be slightly worse than cards you can buy in the market, but it's a player that you want to evo and evolutions are fun. Why not do that? The selling was crazy, and I think honestly this is just, it just goes to show you that there are people disenchanted with the game. For one, you had a good store pack, you had evolutions, and it's just a recipe for disaster here. And I really want to know how EA responds to this. I want to know what they drop here soon, because I know that they can drop some things pretty quickly to try and help with some stuff. Like, what will they do in the next week or so? I don't know, but they got to do probably something. But this promo is cool. It's not like it's horrible or anything like that, but is the content so good that it'll keep people on the game during this time period when gameplay is not that good seemingly right now? Probably not, I would say. Yeah, just go buy a PC, guys. You'll be good. That's what EA wants you to do. Just say, oh, just go play PC. You guys are fine. But this Sunday, I'll probably buy some stuff. Like I talked about, I think 2 days ago, we talked about buying stuff like Sunday night. I think I still probably will buy some stuff, some really high-end, in-demand meta cards I might look at buying. You know, like, I don't know, the most popular cards here, looking at, not a stream card, obviously, but maybe heroes and icons who won't be on the popular page, like page 8, you might see a couple of them. No, you don't see any. Maybe these guys do okay going into, like, Sunday into this week. You know, Butra goes back to, like, 1.3 or something. You know, I don't know. There's not really a whole lot to even talk about here, because I think the only cards I'm going to look to purchase are these guys here, like the really expensive and rare cards that no Evo even comes close to, right? But those cards are very expensive for a lot of you guys, so you probably don't have the coins to buy a lot of them. So other than that, I'm going to wait. We'll play it by ear here, and we'll see what the content looks like. You know, in theory, I would say the content does not look too crazy, so the market should do okay, but I can't say that right now, because I've said that the last 3 days and it's fucking died. Let's read some of your comments now, and like Doc and Rum says here, you know, who really decided on making squad battles harder? I don't think any person complained about this. This had to have been some sort of, they wanted to make the CPU better for career mode players, because that was a thing. Career mode players said the AI didn't do anything, so they wanted to try and fix that, and they didn't know how to do that without fixing AI across the board. That's my conspiracy take. Otherwise, I do not have any idea what the problem is. I don't know what the problem was with squad battles as is, and they're like, yo, you know what we should change? That should be harder. And Suzume, I think, I apologize, says playstyles are destroying FC so hard. 99 pace with 0 pace playstyles, you are fucked. Same for so much US players. Okay, so I see what he's saying. To me, I think one of the biggest things that EA really didn't see the full long-term effects for are these different changes adding to cards. The playstyles, I think casuals, like really casuals, don't really even know what they all do exactly, and they don't really think about that. It's not super intuitive like card stats are, where it's like you see stats, higher equals better. Like, that's pretty easy. So just getting new players is not something that EA focused on, I think, for many years, and that catches up eventually, right? Like, if you don't focus on creating new players and then you upset your older players, which your whole goal is to not do that, if you're not here to get new players in the game every day, then you're fucked, and you end up with what last year was the deadest FC in history. Like there was no comparison to November, December, maybe even I probably even say into like the late January, February periods that last year's game was. It was the lowest player count that we've ever seen that early into a game, and the reason was just that older players just got tired. They just didn't really care anymore because the gameplay wasn't good. It was really bad. The content was not good. It was like, okay, what am I doing here? They didn't have enough like new players to enjoy the novelty of what the promos were still doing, I guess, like what they were there for. There wasn't enough new players to just appreciate that, and the old players were out of there, and then there weren't any new players, so you're stuck with nobody, and that's why EA panicked so hard. That's why we ended up with the changes we saw, right? We had never seen the panic like we saw, and that's why this game this year, the marketing behind it has been like, hey, we're listening to you guys. They didn't say it this way, but the reason that they're doing this is because they cannot have a November like last year. It can't happen again because they are fucked. They lost billions in the market. Now, of course, they made a lot of that back, but they can't do it again. If it happens again, it's a big problem. But these changes over the last like 3-4 years, I think they focus so much on having multiple people spending $5, $10 to they want now 100 players spending $100. So a better way to put it is they want out of 100 players, they want 75 players dropping $5. That went to 10 players dropping $100. I know the math doesn't even out there, but pretend that it does. Like it's that philosophy behind it that now 4 years later we're seeing like, ooh, that was a bad idea. Yeah, we knew it at the time, but you thought you knew better, and you were only looking at your current short-term profits, and you didn't think about what the long-term ramifications for this stuff was. And now here we are. Hopefully it works out for you, you know? I mean, I don't know. Anyway, guys, thank you all for watching and being here. I love you all, and I will see you soon. Peace.